Good afternoon. We are Class 3B's Group 1. Patricia Mentari, Aulia Tri Lestari, Putri Aulia Koirunisa, Ken Utari, and Nathania. In this video, we will present our plot analysis of The Pearl. What is plot? Plot is the sequence of incidents or events in a novel, play, movie, or similar works, of which a story is composed of to map a journey. In this presentation, we will discuss The Plot of The Pearl by John Steinbeck. About the author. John Ernst Steinbeck Jr. was an American author born in Salinas, California on February 27, 1902. After graduating university, he took odd jobs such as tour guide, caretaker, plaster mannequin manufacturer, and fisherman. He died at age 66 on December 20th, 1968, because of nearly complete occlusion of the main coronary arteries due to smoking. Some of his best works are In Dubious Battle, Of Mice and Men, The Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden, and Travels with Charlie. John Steinbeck's works were strongly influenced by his marine biologist friend, Ed Ricketts. He published The Pearl in 1947. Originally, The Pearl was supposed to be a movie script called The Pearl of the World, but he expanded it to novella length and had it published by Viking Press.
The Pearl plot summary. A poor Mexican Indian man named Kino, who lives with his wife and their newborn son, Coyotito, in a house made of brush. One morning, as the sun is rising, Coyotito is stung by a deadly scorpion, and in fear for his life, his parents rush him to the town doctor. After being turned away from the doctor for having no money, Kino and his wife, Juana, take to his canoe to dive for pearls in the sea, in the hopes that they will find one big enough to pay for treatment for the child. Kino finds a large pearl in the ocean and brought it home. After Kino brought the pearl home, word spreads around the town that he has found a large pearl that is certain to make his family rich and breathes in, and people try to steal the pearl and attack the family. Kino, Juana, and Coyotito leave town bound for the capital in order to see if they can sell the pearl. But people try to scam and steal from them to the point where murder took place and the family had to escape. They are set upon by trackers soon after they leave. There is a struggle between Kino and the trackers, and though he managed to kill them all, the baby is shot during the fight. At the end of the novella, Kino and Juana return to their town with their son's body and fling the cursed pearl back into the sea. Next. Stages of a plot. 1. Exposition. At the beginning of the story, the exposition establishes characters and setting. A part of the world building will happen here. This is where the description of how the normal life of the characters in the story should be. 2. Inciting incident or conflict. Conflict is an event in a story that throws the main character into a challenging situation, upsetting their normal life and begins the story's movement either in positively or negatively. 3. Rising action. This is the largest part of the story and where most of the conflict takes place. Here's where the stakes are raised and begin building up to the story's climax. 4. Climax. This is the big moment. The character's choice they made earlier drives the outcome of the conflict, the peak of tension in the story before it finally resolves. 5. Falling action. The falling action is all the plot points wrapping up the consequences of the climax and reflection on the changes in the main character. It can be identified by decreasing tension and approaching resolution and relaxation of emotion. 6. Resolution. Now, at the end of the story, they return to their previous phase, like in the exposition, but the new normal life, incorporating the changes and experiences of the characters. It is the last part of the story for closure before it comes to an end.
The exposition from the Pearl story. The Pearl novel. Now, the story begins in a remote seaside village where a young family of three lives. Kino, Juana, and their infant son, Coyotito. Kino wakes up just before the sun is about to rise, and Juana had been awakened before him. She woke up from the mat to utter a reassuring word to Coyotito. Then Kino fell asleep once again, and his wife went to start a fire in the fire pit. She made some corn cakes for their breakfast and went to clean and breastfeed Coyotito. She placed him back in the hanging box afterwards. Kino had his breakfast first before his wife joins him after. They spoke once again, and that was their morning conversation. Conflict. When the sun shines warmly against the ropes that supports Coyotito's hanging box, a scorpion latches onto one of the streaks and is ready to wind up its tail to attack. Seeing this, both Kino and Juana froze up. Juana recites an ancient chant under her breath while Kino is gliding slowly towards the scorpion. His hands are out to kill the scorpion, but the baby laugh shook the hanging box, causing the scorpion to fall down through Kino's fingers and land on the baby's shoulder. It stung him before it was squashed by Kino's hand, leaving the baby to cry in pain while the poison seeps into his skin. This horrified the two, and Juana asked to get the doctor. However, the doctor would not come to them. Knowing this, they carried Coyotito and brought their baby to the doctor themselves.
The rising action of this story is when the doctor refused to cure Kina's son, who had been stung by a scorpion. Kino is a poor man and the doctor demanded money from Kino, but he does not have it. The doctor's refusal made him angry and struck the gate. Then Kino found the big pearl and everything becomes different. The big pearl can bring a lot of money, he can fulfill his hopes and dreams. But Kino felt afraid because of the bad effect of the pearl. It caused disaster to him and his family. Kino felt that he was becoming an enemy for everyone around him who wants to possess his pearl. But Kino does not let anyone else get the pearl. The pearl can lead Kino into several conflicts. Kino must face people who want his pearl. Those people would use many ways, including stealing and cheating. Kino is an obedient person toward his religious belief. He cannot hurt anyone else, but on the other hand, he must keep the pearl. Finally, he decided to keep the pearl and intends to live in the new world where there is ignorance about religious teaching. Kina's decision to defend the pearl led him to several conflicts. First, the doctor came into Kino's house and offered treatment for his son, who had been stung by a scorpion, but actually the doctor only helps him in order to possess the pearl. The next conflict happens between Kino and his wife. His wife realizes that the pearl was bringing bad fortune, but Kino insisted to keeping the pearl. Joanna asked Kino to throw the pearl into the sea. However, Joanna's demand did not bother him. The conflict also arose between Kino, pearl buyers, and the thieves, who wanted to cheat Kino and possess the pearl. Kino survived those conflicts. He defended the pearl from the pearl buyers and the thieves. Next. The climax of this story is when Kino kills the bad people who want to pass the pearl. He defends the pearl with all his strength, and he will do everything, even if he has to kill someone for it. Kino has left his faith towards the religious norm because he thinks that the pearl has become his soul. Next.
Falling action. Kino and his family runs away to avoid the consequence of murder crime and to avoid the trackers who are after him. They pass through the desert and he left his wife and son in cave before confronting the group of trackers. Kino kills everyone in the group, but he could not save his son. Coyotito is killed by rifle fire and he realized that when he hears his wife cry from the cave behind him. Next, resolution. They return to the city and made their way to Gulf. They threw the pearl back into the ocean. Thank you.